Hi, Internet. It's Penelope here with, Andrew.
Oh, I'm
Andrew.
sorry. I didn't see you come in. I was just reading my Bandai Fox Kids insert from the year 2000s.
From the year 2000.
With this catalog, you can order such things as the deluxe Super Train Megazord, or, more importantly, any of the dinosaurs. Or, it's especially good, save $1 on Power Rangers vitamins.
Oh man, I need that coupon.
Every packaging comes with one of 6 limited edition collectible cards.
Limited edition collectible cards.
Look, you can see Andros, the red space ranger with some weird orange background.
Are you named after him?
Yeah,
I got nothing.
No, sorry, I'm named after Saint Andros.
Oh.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
And who's that? Who's that behind you? Justin, say hi. Okay. All right, Andrew. So, you want to talk about some comics today?
Yeah, I do. It's Fridays with Andrew. I got my picks from this week. It's a little bit different. I'm very excited. We got a lot of, besides the insert, we got a lot of stuff going on.
I'm going to move your bag out.
That's the bag of mystery.
Okay.
Move the bag of mystery.
I will.
We have the Justice League of America Doom Patrol Special, Part 1 of the Milk Wars. We'll get into that in a minute.
The Milk Wars?
Yeah.
The Milk Wars. Was that the
Just
milk
another
carton?
typical Friday day.
Was that the milk carton you were talking about from last week?
We'll get into that. Hold on.
Okay.
Because I don't even think I don't think Fridays with Andrew know about the milk carton. So
okay.
That'll all be explained.
All right.
Black AF, America's Sweetheart from Black Mask Studios.
Now, does the AF stand for...
what you think it does,
okay, yeah.
I'll explain that in a minute as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Dark Arc, number 5.
Number 5.
And, my own personal fire tablet that I brought for some reason that we'll get into in a... also, the Black Bag of Mystery. As always, the Black Bag of Mystery holds all Cranky inductees.
So we're still talking about Crankies because you have so many opinions about comics.
I have 4 more guys to do.
After this pile?
No, that has 2 of the 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would have done... I only got to do 1 Cranky inductee last week.
Because Darth Diggler came in and yelled
we'll get
at you.
to it. No. Well, Darth Diggler and Frank are never in the same room at the same time.
Oh, okay, sorry. I get them confused.
Milk Wars Part 1. Justice League of America and the Doom Patrol.
Okay, so this is a Milkman on the cover.
That is Milkman Man.
Milkman Man?
Milkman Man. We'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
So DC heard that they got dethroned. They heard that...
They watch Fridays with Andrew.
They do. They heard that DC domination was over, and so they went back in time, and they're like, well, you know what? We're going to make sure that this comic comes out that following week to prove me wrong. So
okay, yeah.
DC got me some milk. And a beautiful comic to boot.
Milk Wars.
So this is Justice League of America, Doom Patrol. The plot is, in the Doom Patrol comics, we learned that all reality is observed as entertainment to advanced super higher beings, hint hint, comic readers, and changes to the whims of their entertainment. Reality was currently in the control of an organization called Retcon, who decided to cut their losses and are trying to sell the DC reality as quickly as they can, so they don't have to deal with it anymore.
Now I have to ask, how does milk play into this?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So, all right. So the to help make it palatable for classic Justice League International villain Manga Khan, Lord Manga Khan, they have decided to try and use their reality warping abilities to make the Earth into a Leave It to Beaver 1950s type.
Leave it to Beaver?
Oh, did I say Bieber?
You said Bieber, which is actually better.
Yeah, that's the Justin Bieber spinoff. Leave It to Beaver style,
classic wholesome 50s.
Yeah, cookie
vibe.
Cutting, like typical American family.
Make America Great Again kind of America.
They literally... Yeah. I'll get into some of the themes of this comic in a minute.
Okay.
All right, so... Yeah, so... The way that they alter reality through several ways. One of them is mind-altering, brainwashing milk. They've actually brainwashed the Justice League of America. There's Mr. Carl Lobo, who is just Lobo brainwashed. They brainwashed the Justice League of America into the Community League of Rhode Island. See, look, that's Black Canary and Vixen and Killer Frost as 50s housewives. We have a 50s husband, Adam, and we have Milkman Man, who is like...
Milkman Man.
Who's the Superman of this new gentrified, sanitized 1950s.
Now, is it Superman as a milkman, or is it a new character?
I don't know how much I should talk about the plot.
Okay.
Because
fair enough.
No, that's a good question to ask. When you open the book, you were led to believe this is Superman.
He kind of looks very kind of Clark Kent-y there.
He looks near identical even, which
leads me to believe that he must not be, since you're speaking in riddles. It's fine. No spoilers.
Now, okay, so as you can see, the art is beautiful. The colors are absolutely great.
Very colorful.
Wait, hold on, I forgot. That is Tamra Bonvillian and Marissa Louise, who are two just great colorists. Because I have respect for that kind of thing.
For colorists?
For colorists.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll talk about more of that later. Okay. And, they really help bring out the action, the mood, and the zaniness of everything that's going on. As I said, this is part 1 because retcon has affected a large portion of the DC
Let me
universe.
Get a good shot of that cover there. Yeah. Justice League, Doom Patrol, Milkman, Milk
Young
Wars.
Animal DC, because Doom Patrol belonged to a new imprint that I believe was launched a year and a half or 2 years ago, to kind of give DC's weirder characters a corner to call their own.
I like that idea.
So,
That's cool.
Doom Patrol, Shade the Changing Woman, Cave Carson, that's where they live.
Okay.
And so, but now they're crossing over with the main DC universe to stop this threat from changing their world. If I were to get into one little issue that I have with it, the Doom Patrol kind of steal the spotlight. My thing about crossovers is the idea should be that both groups have equal time, equal footing, kind of share the spotlight. And when one hogs the spotlight or one is put more further into the forefront, I feel like that kind of undermines both people. The Doom Patrol don't need the Justice League of America spotlight, and I don't know. It just... I also get, like, the reason they did it the way they do is so the Doom Patrol could be surprised to see the Justice League be the way they are. But I feel like maybe change the order of things, maybe show the Justice League get brainwashed a little bit. Okay. Or maybe flash back and forth, Once Upon a Time style in between.
But still good enough to be one of your picks for the week.
Good enough to be one of my picks. I would call this like a B-, like an 8. It's still really good, still really beautiful. It has a lot of interesting political stuff, because as we said, we're talking about people trying to reinvent the world to be cleaner, to be more marketable, to be better, to be less diverse. So, and there may or may not be some analogs to milk, because milk may or may not have been co-opted by certain alt-right people into a white nationalist image.
Wait, you mean actual milk in the real world?
In the real world. There's such a thing as power milk. Look that up.
I'm afraid to Google that. It sounds like...
Coach, I'll bust you that line like a runaway truck.
I don't know what he's saying over there.
Milk commercial.
Yes, it was.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Oh my gosh. How about the one where the Trix Rabbit...
I'm calling our third partner.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, don't let him yell at you.
They're talking on their little video over there.
Great. Alright, so that was Doom Patrol Justice League of America. 8.
Solid 8 out of 10.
Solid 8, solid B-. Looking forward to see how the Milk Wars continue.
Milk Wars,
and
everybody.
DC is back on the marquee.
I have a gripe with Diamond. Andrew did not get his little promotional milk carton last week.
So DC decided, as a cute little promotional thing, they're sending out folded out cartons of milk as like a little promotional thing. We get Diamond promo stuff every once in a while. It's mostly posters. Sometimes it'll be something like, we got like, remember the Cosmic Cubes? Like,
yeah, we got little Tesseracts.
Yeah, like the fun stuff. Yeah. I was kind of looking forward to the
He was. He had already claimed. He had already dibbed on that thing.
Yeah. So, and then we didn't get it. Thankfully, our wonderful rep Brian, I've notified him of this, and he seems to have gotten me a replacement. So we are officially on Milk Watch or Milk Cart. I like to add segments. You
do Milk Watch. We're on Milk Watch 2018.
Milk Watch 2018.
When that milk shows up, you guys will be the first to know. Yeah.
I may or may not drink out of it because I don't want to get old reality warped brainwashing. So let's talk about Black AF, America's Sweetheart.
Black as blank.
Long title.
All right.
Long title.
I don't mind long titles.
So the reason it is Black AF, America's Sweetheart, as opposed to Black American Sweetheart or Black AF or what have you, is it's actually part of a new line of books called Black AF.
Okay.
What Black AF they're essentially the expanded universe, the alternate tales, the like, well, not alternate because it's continuity, but
Yeah.
like the showing, broadening the universe of the main Black title. For
Okay.
those frequent watchers will know that Black actually got my Cranky for best covers. Kari
Yes.
Randolph's work on Black.
Yep.
It is, for people who need a rundown of the plot, it is about an alternate Earth, much like our own, with secret superheroes, about a world where only Black people get superpowers. Superpowers are limited, and that has been a secret known to some people, and that has kind of shaped human history within this. It's basically, so like the way the writer's named Kwanzaa Osiefo, he actually said, I love X-Men, but I hate it how, you never see Wolverine get pulled over for being a mutant, or like Jean Grey not going to law school because she has a mutant sounding name. He thought it wasn't overt enough. So Black is basically overt X-Men.
Got it.
And it was kind of a huge hit last year and in 2016. It started out as a Kickstarter title and it got $91,000 on Kickstarter.
Wow.
Over 2,500 people kickstarted it. It was it's one of the comic book success stories of crowdsourcing.
Wow.
And then
Very
Black
cool.
Mass Studio picked it up for distribution, and it's been hit after hit since. So
Is this the first time we've had a trade as one of your picks of the week?
it's not really a trick. So it's a original graphic novel.
Okay.
Which means it comes in this sort of soft cover back
Got it.
format. Because like, so miniseries and these types of original graphic novels are what the Black AF storyline is going to be consisting of.
Yeah.
And so the story follows like one of these superheroes. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, no spoilers.
She basically has kind of a Superman-esque origin, adopted by parents. That's her little adorable foster family. And in a very conservative household, to a G-man father who knows about the secret of Black superheroes. And basically was raised in a very American values, American sensibility, and wants to use these superpowers to try and do stuff for the better. A quick spoiler for Black, because, it's I'm pretty sure it says on the back or something. People now, at the end of Black, people know that Black people have superpowers. So with the secret now out, she feels like there's no shame in her operating in the sunlight and wanting to give people a better idea of these superpowered beings instead of people who are like kind of scared of them. And you can imagine the kind of language that's put in this it's a very political piece. A lot of people who are like, get politics out of my entertainment, don't get this. This isn't for you. This is like hugely political, hugely I don't want to say controversial because I guess it's controversial, but it doesn't want to be. It's
a topical piece. It's
political piece.
It's political,
and it's
AF.
really it's really, really good. It's at what it does amazing, because it's basically trying to talk about a person with an idealistic, altruistic worldview who kind of has, who comes to a surprise when things aren't exactly what she had believed the world to be. And I guess I'll leave it at that.
All right, that's a good non-spoiler kind of way.
A lot
of
of people
it.
There's, I will say there's a lot of analogs with real people. I'm sure a lot of people could say there is. I will say it's not a spoiler. It's just a plot detail. There is one moment of people accusing her of being racially preferenced to the people she saves, which there's there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff, and a lot of interesting topics. It's very akin to Milestone stuff. So if you guys love that, you'll really like this. Kwanzaa Osiefo was very much inspired by Icon and the idea that of a Black character who's conservative, and so that's why he wanted her. Oh, by the way, her name's Ellie. Her codename's Good Girl. He really wanted Good Girl to be, even though she's the Superman character in this very sort of politically charged, kind of liberal leaning world. She still has kind of a conservative mindset and not a straw man conservative mindset. She really only tries to think of things in the best, and it's really heartbreaking to see what happens as a result of that. So this is a 9, if not 10. I really flip-flop with it a little bit.
9.5, 10.
9.5,
Black
10.
AF, America's Sweetheart.
Yeah, it's just really, really good, and really like solid storytelling.
Yeah. And again, it's an original graphic novel, so it's not a trade. It's not a collection of other stories.
It's one story. It's got a beginning, middle, and
it's
end.
one story, and
it's part of a larger universe.
Right.
The main character of Black shows up and interacts with her.
Okay,
but it's still its own thing, and it can still be enjoyed at its own thing. I feel like if you've never even heard of the concept of the proper book, you could still get a good read out of this.
Okay.
And okay, so now even though that's great, and I really, really love that book. I really love that book, Penelope.
Honestly, tell us how much you love that book.
I think this was my big pick of the week. Dark Arc number 5 from Aftershock Comics.
Yeah.
We've heard and seen a little bit of Aftershock.
Kendall A. Hayes is watching. Hi, Kendall.
Hi. We've seen a little bit of Aftershock, heard a little bit about them. The one that comes to mind is Monstro Mechanica.
Okay.
I talked them up.
I'm familiar with that title.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Fridays with Andrew watcher.
Yeah, and co-star.
I wouldn't go that far.
Alright. No, you just don't want to be associated. Dark Arc has a fantastic plot to start it up. It's by one of my favorite brothers, Cullen Bunn, illustrated and colored by Juan Doe.
Colored by
Juan Doe. He did
both.
Colored.
We're talking about coloring.
And these are some great colors.
Colorists. I can't wait to hear you rant about coloring again this week.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so Dark Arc has an incredible premise of, it is Noah's Ark time, the Noah's Ark story, except Satan knows the flood is coming, and Satan tells this, devil-worshipping occultist sorcerer, you're going to hell, but what you don't know is your family's going to hell for your sins as well.
Ooh,
however,
rude.
I can spare you and give you guys a get out of hell free card if you'll do me a solid. God wants the unnatural creatures, the supernatural creatures, vampires, goblins, trolls.
Does that include unicorns?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Dragons. Those types of he wants those types of creatures to drown in the flood.
Rude.
Satan wants them to continue into the new... That's Satan, by the way. He looks
let me see.
Baller.
Oh, yeah, he looks like the dude from Clancy Brown from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, well, yeah, Surtur. Yeah, same sort of pagan iconography or whatever. So he wants his creatures to survive the new world. So he tasked this occultist sorcerer named Shrey to basically tend an ark of the occult. An ark of the trolls.
The Dark Ark.
The Dark Ark.
I'm loving this so far.
I know, and not only tend
Dark.
Well, no, the name of the comic is Dark Ark, so we're gonna go with it's called Dark Ark.
Maybe if you're abbreviating it. He wants them to survive in the next world, but there's also a catch. His creatures need food for the new world. Okay. So Shrey not only has to tend to his own flock, he has to make sure Noah survives. Because
the vampires and the werewolves need to eat regular animals.
And the griffins and basically all of them. All of them are predatory creatures.
But we're not talking about unicorns yet?
Well, how spoilery do I want to get?
You know what? I'm going to actually read this.
It happened in issue 1. Unicorns are on his boat, but they feel betrayed by God because they're very pure, holy creatures. Okay. And they don't understand why they're on the boat. And that may have become a plot point in issue 5.
Wow, wow. This is deep.
It's super interesting. It's kind of I say this about a lot of things with like a lot of moving parts. It's a little Games of Thronesy. There's basically the undercarriage has food sources, has people. Shrey kidnapped people to feed to the animals during what we know is the 40 days and 40 nights.
Well, they're all going to die anyway, right?
So one woman goes, we either died in the flood or we died as food. In a way, Shrey's been more of a god to us than God.
Whoa,
there's God just left us to die. At least Shrey is giving us a few more days, a few more hours.
So, just so I get this straight, Satan created all magical creatures?
I guess they don't really go into what he says they're of him. So I guess so. Or maybe he sponsored them. I don't know how it works. He
sponsored them.
I don't know how it works.
And that even includes like good magical creatures, like the unicorn, the angels.
No, angels. Well, so there are angels in this. Angels actually. That's what angels look like. Angels exist in heaven. Remember, this is based on the Old Testament.
Okay.
So
so they're in heaven. They're not on Earth.
Yeah, they don't care about us.
Okay.
There actually is a great line where. It's not really a slight spoiler. The angels think Shrey is Noah. and Shrey has to pretend he's Noah because God's not supposed to know about the Dark Ark.
Okay.
So there's
Fair enough.
there's a funny little exchange going on there.
Hilarious.
Of a guy who is basically a devil worshiper having to act like he likes and appreciates angels.
All right.
It's very
Well,
funny.
I mean, Satan was an angel, wasn't he?
Yeah, but now he's a fire daddy.
Fire daddy? I like that.
Yeah. Yes. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of interesting. Yeah,
Dark Ark.
this is the main cover, also by Juando.
I like it. The colors are awesome.
Yes, the colors are fantastic. He's a great artist. He's a great colorist. So, his faces are a little weird. He does a little thing sometimes where.
Oh, there's a unicorn. I want to see it.
Oh, that's what unicorns look like.
Oh, I love them. They have like cute little. Oh, those are really cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
he's one of the main recurring characters. He's a griffin named Krull.
Wait, that's a griffin?
I think that's or no, he's a chimera. I'm sorry.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Some supernatural creatures get preferential treatment because everything's clicky. Dark Ark is an easy 9, if not 10 again. Just like Black America's Sweetheart. It's dark. It's twisted. I've been really enjoying. 3 or 4 almost made it on a Fridays with Andrew in December. For whatever reason, other stuff ran out, but it's a really good story. The trade's coming out soon.
Ooh.
Contact us if you want the trade.
I might need to pick that up. I think I need to read this book. Yeah.
It's really good.
I need to read it.
It's really good, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Lot to unpack.
So,
All right. So that is your week with it. Fridays with Andrew. We've got an 8, 8.5. We got a 9, 9.5, 10, and we've got a solid 9.
Yeah.
Any of those titles you guys are interested in? I'm going to just flip this around for 1 second. Any of those titles you guys might be interested in? Contact us on Facebook.
And they wrote the full
Stop
gamut,
by the
I think,
store.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm just trying to get people to buy stuff.
I just proved the post that Frank or Justin did about like the guy who always interrupts people. But no, I think they run the full gamut of what the current comic industry has to offer. Weird but kind of substance in there. Political commentary, and then just a high concept fantasy.
All right, you heard it here. If you guys are interested in any of those titles, please let us know. Andrew can get them for you. And now it's time for Andrew to talk about. You're going to do some cranky talk, or
so usually I would be bringing up the crankies, but I was challenged last week. I was challenged by Frank, and not really Justin, but he was there and he nodded.
He was a silent accomplice.
Yeah, he was complicit in Frank's behavior.
I was not part of last week's Fridays with Andrew, so I have no comment.
I need to do a rundown. I had talked about my admiration for a particular colorist and coloring in general, and I referred to coloring as an art. To which Frank guffawed.
And when we're saying coloring, we don't mean like crayons. We're talking about comic book colorists.
Comic book colorists who have to decide what the visual representation or the visual color of a book is going to be.
Okay. And Frank had differing opinions than you.
Frank had differing opinions, and he challenged me to find evidence to substantiate my claim.
Now, your claim was that coloring is
an art form.
An art form into and of itself.
Yes, and the addition... Now, here's a funny coincidence. Last Thursday was Colorist Appreciation Day on Twitter.
Oh, really?
I crap you not. I didn't know it until after the fact. It was last Thursday was a day where comic fans and pros alike were raving and going on about how underappreciated and great colorists are. So I actually have quite a few material to illustrate my point. You've
brought some empirical evidence here for us to view.
Well, the circumstantial evidence, I would say.
Evidence.
Evidence. for a trial of my peers.
All right.
So
fair enough.
This comes from Geek.com.
Okay.
And it's talking about Colorist Appreciation Day, and it's talking about countless colorists who have worked for decades and haven't been properly credited.
Oh.
There's actually a lot of mysteries behind Golden Age books about some people don't know who colored certain Golden Age books because for a while colorists weren't even credited on the books. But it wasn't the artist who was drawing those Golden Age books.
So in those days, colorists were almost an aside.
Yeah, it was really the second-class citizen.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's the recognition is to what it should be, but it was still pretty bad. I'm just gonna a little bit. While just about everyone with even a novice knowledge of the format knows about Watchmen, we only really talk about writer Alan Moore and artist Dave Gibbons. John Higgins coloring Watchmen added great weight to the series and gave it a haunting, forbidding tone that would not have translated to the page otherwise.
Yeah, what if he had decided to make Dr. Manhattan pink?
What if he decided to make Dr. Manhattan pink? We don't know that Alan Moore said naked. No, that's a great point. For some of the other stuff we'll get into, we'll talk about color choices. Just about everyone knows the X-Men, and fans of the comics all know that Chris Claremont and Jim Lee is one of the highest, X-Men #1 is one of the highest selling comics of all time. What a lot of people don't necessarily know is that it was colored by Joe Rosas. He was a very accomplished colorist whose works run the gamut of Marvel titles and other classic X storylines like Extinction Agenda. So there's a lot of there's just more stuff about this, talking about Laura Allard, who's a wife of his name is escaping now, Mike Allard, I think, and worked with him on Ecstatics, which to this day is probably my favorite addition to the X-Men comics. Elizabeth Brutweiser, muted colors work in noir titles, sells the tone of the genre just as well, if not better, than the writing and the line work. And the moody colors in her superhero work always elevate the story. Laura, this is just going on and on about various colorists who deserve recognition, and then going into BuzzFeed-style top 10. So that was from Geek.com.
Okay.
We go over to an article from AV Club, one of my favorite nerd-based websites.
Yeah.
They did an entire article about colorists and letterers as the unsung hero of comic books. And they talk about a guy named Matthew Wilson. Or Matt Wilson. He's like a big colorist type guy. He does one of the more popular indie books, The Wicked plus the Divine. It's kind of an American Gods-esque storyline where pagan gods come back as pop stars. They live for 2 years and then they die and they're no longer relevant. Much like gods.
Ooh,
they come and they go and they're no longer relevant.
So here's a quick question.
Sure.
Colorists are starting to get more... It's, as you say, it's becoming more of an art form and people are starting to care more. Letterers... Do they even exist anymore?
Yeah. The article has like a lot of stuff to say about... I would recommend this piece. A lot of the pieces I'm about to mention I would recommend.
And we can share these links in your...
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah. Joe... I have him on a Gmail. I'll say it. Joe Karakamaga, I think. He writes for DuckTales right now, and he's an artist, but he really likes lettering things as well. Another thing, this again going back to colors, I really didn't do enough letterer homework to eloquently talk about the tale.
I'm just shocked that it's still a thing, because like coloring, you used to use paints and pens, now you're using computers.
Yeah.
But it's still something that has to be done. Lettering, you just type with a font.
Yeah,
or you can, I should say. So I'm surprised to see that people still do hand lettering.
I don't have the pictures for that, but there was he was talking a little bit about placement of words and typeface and stuff like. Again, I really didn't. You're pop quizzing me now.
sorry.
I got stuff for the reading material.
You did your homework for the coloring, not the lettering.
I don't know, but yeah, that's another conversation in and of itself. But for both of them, they don't get sort of the royalty deals artists and writers get these days. Which is kind of a shame. I'm so sorry.
You okay?
I've been sidelined by the letterer thing. This is just...
Sorry, I totally threw you off your game. I'm sorry.
Compensation and royalties can still be shaky. DC Comics added colorists to their royalty program a few years ago. Wilson said, but such steps forward have been accompanied by rates and other companies declining, even as issue sales stay steady. Then there's the occasional neglect colorist and letterers face from the editorial arms of the publishers, especially compared to writers. Sometimes Joe the letterer doesn't know a book he's been lettering every month has been canceled until he sees it on Twitter. So, you're not even informing your creative team about the future of your book, and that's his job. Beside the fact if he gets lettering or not, he doesn't know if he should be working on something because he might, that was ludicrous to me. Going back to Matt Wilson, he was talking about a lot of the stuff he does for Wicked and the Divine. He also talked about briefly how he got into coloring, how there are these art house studios that get partner up with big name publishers like Marvel or DC, and he worked for one of those called Xylonal Studios, and he basically got a coloring position there and kind of from there leaped on into coloring. He does Daredevil, Black Widow, and Paper Girls. Of those, Paper Girls is one of
Paper Girls,
the best books every month.
Yeah.
After 14 years of working at home, I'm totally unqualified to do anything other than color a comic book. I digitally painted myself into a corner. But yeah, so like that's the Wicked plus the Divine. I believe that's David Bowie Satan over there, looking pretty nice. Wilson used shifting gradients of hues to wash out the line work and communicate the speed and pulse of the music. Even when the gods in this comic are basically doing big superhero fights, we've always wanted their powers to look and feel different than typical superhero book. We look at a lot of fashion photography, music videos, and art installations to draw inspiration for the look of the gods and their powers. Other performances were trickier to sell, though. Kieran that's the writer, Kieran Gallon, writes these incredible abstract ideas, which invoke some amazing imagery, but are sometimes a bit tough to actually depict, Wilson said. Kieran's script will say something like, and their powers are waves of extreme nothingness, pouring over the crowd. And then I have to figure out what effing color extreme nothingness is. So that's true. Like, you know, like, again, to take Frank's point about the color wheel and the softwares to assist with the job and tools to make things easier, your color wheel isn't going to tell you what extreme nothingness looks like. Your color wheel isn't going to tell you how to depict that energy in a way that catches the eye, which brings me to my next point. Cover artist Jen Bartel actually, on Appreciation Day, was approached by a colorist, and she actually brought Matt Wilson up as an example of a colorist to watch out for. And I really want to go, this is an incredible insight into everything that goes into coloring. I'd experiment with two things if I were you. Try working with unified, limited palettes to show mood instead of relying on local color. Local color is basically like, you know, this being blue, as opposed to like what it would look like in a purple scene. You know, like it wouldn't be blue; it would be like shaded in a certain. You know, we see that with that panel, but we'll get to that in a minute. Try using some color holds to show atmospheric perspective or highlight action. And so she's gotten this scene from Paper Girls and Black Widow, that Matt Wilson color, to illustrate her point. So let's just take a look at this beautiful panel from Paper Girls. It's very, very nice. It's some gorgeous colors.
Is he wearing an Appetite for Destruction shirt?
He is indeed. It takes place in the 80s. See how he's using a unified color scheme here. So everything is harmonious, even though the colors themselves are mostly just flat. See how those are trees in the background? I want to zoom in on the trees. See how they look really far away. Just because the outline color is a lighter blue instead of black. See, those trees are a little bit closer because they're outlined in black, but he used a lighter blue to illustrate distance. I lost my page a minute. Oh, I'm so sorry. So now she then goes on to talk about Black Widow. Again, see how he's leading your eye with the color holds. All those effects have orange and yellow, and they really make them come forward against the dark black spots. This is what she's talking about.
Wow, check that out.
See, the chiclink is colored yellow. That like little bit of electricity. It's not like black outline and then a yellow center. It's all just yellow. That whoosh is an orange whoosh.
Whoosh.
So all right. Also try eyedropping various colors. You know, the eyedrop tool.
Of course.
Eyedropping various colors on this page. I guarantee you, the colors won't be exactly what you think they are just by eyeballing them. So going to Frank's thing about the software, if you know what you're doing, the software won't always just tell you which color to put in. Because that's because color is all relative. Something that looks really purple against yellow or orange might actually just be gray. But because of the way the eye views complementary colors, it really helps the figure pop out against the backgrounds. Notice how in the first panel, Matt uses warm colors on the figures against the cool background. And then he switches over to using cooler tones against a warm background. Again, it's about telling the viewer where to look. Your eye will always be drawn to the... Wait, hold on. Point to the high... Sorry. To the point of highest contrast. And while Chris has provided Chris Samney is the artist. Chris has provided high contrast inks with lots of spot blacks. Matt's complementary palettes elevate that even further. So to illustrate what she means, see, like, we can see the guy Nat is beating the crap out of and Nat are kind of brighter against dark blue. Those are called cold colors. But here now, like, he everything about him is darker, everything about her is darker, and now we have, like, the bright, warm orange backgrounds to illustrate that this is an action scene and to, again, just better contrast those images from the background. Even the flip from a cool environment to a hot one, I skipped ahead, I guess.
It's fine.
Action panels help the reader immediately feel a sense of urgency, intensity, and speed that the first panel didn't necessarily show. Even though Chris has drawn Natasha in the foreground, it is clearly in action. When you're coloring comics, it's really not about making individual elements look pretty or rendering them nicely. It's mostly important to help the narrative, the storyline, by leading the eye and showing mood through color. Now, we're a little bit stressed for time. I did have one more point to illustrate about like a different character piece of Jodri. Wait, what is her name? Oh my gosh. I didn't do as much homework as I guess. What is it?
You're on the spot, Andrew.
I am. I gotta find my place. So, it's that dream all over again.
If it helps you feel less stressed at all, my phone is at 11% power. Just so you know.
Oh no. I had another character. I had another character piece. From.
Looking over your shoulder.
Oh man, Geek.com. It's what it's called. And also that piece from way in the beginning that was from the Atlantic. Just citing my sources. Now I wanted to do,
citing my sources.
Yeah, I wanted to do. This is the last thing I want to do. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't get to the other character piece, but I guess we'll link it in my thing.
We can.
All right. I brought. Oh my god, my voice is starting to go. 2 images. One was an actual released, published, colored picture from a comic called Superman Unchained.
Okay.
It is a Jim Lee illustrated. Jim Lee, considered by many to be one of the greatest artists of all time.
Yeah.
Jim Lee done book. Colored by Alex Sinclair, who I love personally for Blackest Night, my favorite event comic of all time. And then I also have, as practice, my absolute favorite colorist of all time, Josh Burcham, actually took that image and colored it himself.
So you're showing us the same image colored by 2 different artists.
Colored by 2 different artists.
Colorists.
Colorists.
Yeah.
Artists.
Coloring artists.
Coloring artists.
Color artists.
And also, to be clear, my guy, Josh Burcham, did not know what the original colored image looked. He saw the line work. He didn't even know what the script looked like.
Just colored it.
It was a practice thing.
All right.
And it turned out beautifully, so he decided to post it.
Cool.
And after reading what the script was, he went back and did a final revision. Just so he initially colored Clark Kent to look like Commissioner Gordon, which I found very funny, and I wish I could see what that looked like. All right, so this is the actual page. This is the Jim Lee book. It's Superman going into the Batcave, where Batman is wearing a special suit that is undetectable by any.
Okay, real quick. Maybe I can just get a better.
Let me try. Can I brighten it really quick? I'm sorry.
Let's try that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, how do I hate tablets. How do I brighten it?
Speaking of brightness, I now have 12%.
Oh, good. I don't know how that works, but good.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait, talk about our subscription service.
Our subscription service is a thing. You can buy comics from us.
Yes.
There you go.
Apparently it was already at max. All right. Beautiful. All right. So he
get a good zoom in.
Sorry, that was a zoom in on Bat's crotch.
That's fine.
So Superman is coming into the Batcave. Batman is wearing a special suit that Superman cannot detect. It's meant to be a Batman, like, I'm so smart type scene.
Okay.
And then I believe also leads into some other stuff later on in the story. So as we can see, Sinclair is utilizing some of the stuff that we've talked about.
I'm seeing a lot of blue.
A lot of cold colors to
Yep.
illustrate mood.
Yeah.
Contrast with the yellow and.
So this is Clark down here.
That's Clark.
And then we got Bats right here.
Yeah, that's Bats, and then that's Clark, and that's Clark, and that's Clark. It's interesting stuff. Now this is Burcham's take. So
very different,
and here's a key. So yes, they both illustrate cool colors, and yes, they both have contrast. Him with the red, him with the yellow. But Bertram is using that localized. Sinclair is using the local colors that Bartel was talking about earlier, whereas Bertram goes to that unified color scheme that Wilson likes so much.
Is that? It looks so different there.
Look at Clark's. That we can still kind of tell that shirt is a white and that coat is a gray, but they're not colored that way. Whereas here Sinclair just went for a straight brown and a straight white. Here we have Sinclair use the blues to pop and make his eyes pop, as well as kind of illustrate the background and illustrate him looking through the Batcave. Maybe that was a plot detail that. Oh no, he kind of made him translucent. No, but here, again, he uses white for the glasses, and again, it's still.
That's a very Sin City kind of color.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right
yeah,
there.
it's
The eyes are really popping.
I know. I love. I think that's supposed to be like cold because it's like cold. Yeah, they're both different. I obviously prefer Bertram's because Bertram is my favorite colorist.
That the eyes on him are just popping so crazily up at the top there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of like the bad guy from X-Files. I don't.
The smoking guy?
Yeah, the smoking guy.
Did he have glasses?
I thought he had bright eyes. I'm not the biggest X-Files guy. I shouldn't reference things that I'm not efficient in. But yeah, like that I really did want to. These were two artists again. Completely independently came up with these takes.
Yeah.
And completely independently came up with some very interesting stuff.
And really changed the mood.
And really changed the entire... I think this is a more superhero-y type thing. You know, like the colors bursting out all the way. The harmonized color scheme works so well here. And it looks so beautiful. And again, it still pops. The stuff... Oh, and also, I'm pretty sure he's implementing that same thing with... Oh, no, they have... No, yeah, they do. Yeah, the color using the blue for outline colors.
So, to be devil's advocate here...
Sure.
I have 10% battery power.
I think he was saying...
About the technology.
Because of the technology... Listen, different people do it different ways and show different vibe. But it's... with enough practice, a lot of people can sit down... and learn to do it and do it. But it's not the same with drawing.
But my thing is it's tools. My thing is a color wheel is a tool. That software is a tool. A tool can't tell you how the eye is going to perceive an image. A tool can't tell you as you know what you
because of that tool.
Yeah. But you just said it was practice. You yourself said it. Practice means
with the tool.
Right, to refine your skill.
I could sit here with a computer and a color wheel and Photoshop and probably color a color page. Give me a little bit of time. Like a bad mofo, I can make a beautiful page. I'm no artist.
There's more that goes into it.
I'm sure there is. I'm not trying. I'm not simplifying as much as he is.
Yeah.
But I think he's trying to say.
But I don't know. I still disagree with that because I think like you could say this. Because to me that is the equivalent of saying.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
Is a DJ a musician?
Probably.
Conversation over.
I don't know much about the musical industry.
I agree with Justin that a DJ is not a musician.
I don't know much about the music.
I can't equate a colorist with a DJ.
I can't speak for that.
Okay. Do you want to try to squeeze?
I do think someone in sound production, mixing and mastering, is an artist.
All right.
I know more about that than DJing.
So I now
because
have.
I took a class about it.
I now have. Oh Jesus.
Just like there's eye to coloring.
Yes.
Exactly.
There's some people that probably have a more natural proclivity to it than others.
Yeah.
But it can also be a learned thing.
But my thing is all art could be a learned thing, but to a point.
To a point.
I think
you can't become Jack Kirby by learning it.
No, you can't. But I'm saying you can't be Josh Bertram by learning it. I think you can maybe be another colorist.
Who? Name a name.
I don't want to put down Alex.
Yeah, name a name.
I don't want to put
He
down
doesn't
Alex
want to put
Sinclair,
anybody out.
I don't want to put down Alex Sinclair.
Alex, if you're watching this, Andrew doesn't like you.
I love your work on Blackest Night. I love it.
So I have 9% battery power left.
Right.
Do you?
Speak for Frank's friend.
But I'm still saying, like, this, based on all the evidence I brought, I still think it refutes your point. And I didn't mention the technology, like, once at one of the junctures I went to. So do I have time for a cranky?
Do you want to try to do a cranky, or do you want to just save? I've got 9%.
I have the perfect cranky, actually.
All right.
Best miniseries. We talked about best new miniseries. It was Brave Chef Brianna. This is best. This is the overall miniseries category.
So wait, best new miniseries and best miniseries are two different categories.
Because some miniseries can be about a character who has been appeared before.
Okay.
Or a continuation of something.
Okay.
Or a spin-off.
Okay.
And to that we have Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle.
This is on everyone's list in some way. You know, it'd be. I actually forget.
Oh, you forget the colorist, Andrew?
So important.
Oh.
I can tell you in a minute.
Well, he looks it up.
It might actually be Mitch Gerard's, actually. He might do his own coloring. Yeah, he did. He did his own coloring.
Look at that. He did his own coloring.
And I knew that ahead of time.
He knew that.
Trust to send it out to somebody who's not really an artist.
Neither does Juan Doe. Oh, my God. Oh, yes. I didn't catch that last part. Until it was too late. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's what do I have this? It's bringing back Tom King and Mitch Gerads. It's bringing back a classic Jack Kirby stable into the DC in a huge, different, unique new way. It's been paying off to fans of the Fourth World. It's funny. There's this great line with these two like guards. That's basically like everyone's favorite stormtrooper scene from Star Wars. Where they're like, if we're the Fourth World, what was the Third World? It was funny. It's very funny. It's very serious. It's tackling incredible issues about loss and depression and all this other good stuff, and it makes for great comics.
Loss and depression, good stuff, people. Good stuff.
And love.
Okay. Have you had Mr. Miracle on your you have on your Fridays with Andrew in the past? Twice.
I think twice.
Was this the book with their husband and wife couple? Okay, so we
Big
talked about
Barda
that.
And Mr.
Yes,
Miracle.
we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did. They are one of my favorite superhero power couples, and they're great guys. And
so best new miniseries or best miniseries?
Best miniseries. Brave Chef Brianna was best new miniseries.
Okay, so it's just best miniseries of the year. How many titles are there? How many issues? I should say.
We're on 7 of 12. I think
7 of 12.
All right.
So can we still get back issues of this, or are we waiting for the trade to come out?
I think you get back some back issues, but you can totally wait for the trade. I think it's going to come out in a few months.
And we'll be able to get it here.
We can, if you ask us about our ordering service.
Subscription and ordering. Always a thing. All right, anything else you want to say before my phone dies?
That's good. Coloring is an art. I like to think that I've offered enough evidence to say that it's something that can be refined. It's something that is a natural inclination. And yes, there are tools to make it easier, but tools to me don't make it talent.
We got the tools. We got the talent. Right. Coloring's an art form, according to Andrew.
Yep.
And this was Fridays with Andrew.
Yep.
What is this week? What is today?
The week of the... It's basically, I think it's the last week of January, but today's February 2nd.
Oh, it is? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's
the last week of January. Yes. We're going into February. We're going into February strong.
Yes.
And we like to see all you guys in the future. And coloring is an art. And I prove that.
All right.
All right.
Guys, see us next week for another Fridays with Andrew. Justin, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.